How's it going, everybody? Ed Ricker here with the Mavic 2 Pro and the Mavic 2 Zoom right in front of me, along with a curious collection of neutral density and polarizer filters. Freewell Gear was kind enough to send me their Pro and Zoom version of the Mavic 2 hybrid filters. So these are the neutral density and the neutral density and polarized options for both. And all this happens to be on a Freewell Gear landing pad. So Freewell Gear has always been really kind to me, send me some of their newest stuff and let me review it, and that's what we're doing today. Now this is what they consider the all-day 4K filter pack, and so that includes the ND4, 8, and 16, as well as a circular polarizer, plus the ND8, 16, 32, and 64 plus polarized options. So they really say all day, they mean from dusk until high noon with the sun bright as it can be. Now neutral density basically means that it's going to darken your image, and we all know that the Zoom does not have a controllable aperture. The Pro version does, so maybe it's more of a bigger deal for the Zoom owners, but regardless, having a neutral density filter for either camera or any camera really helps with brighter sunlight days where you want to have a slow shutter speed and you don't want to close down your aperture a ridiculous amount. Now, one of the things about the Pro and Zoom cameras on the Mavic 2, to install a filter, you've got to take off the existing clear glass filter, and that's not easy to do. They don't make it easy to take off for the first time. Take your fingers right here, grab onto the camera with one hand, and with the other, twist that clear glass counterclockwise, and it pops right off. You take one of your filters, we're going to use the ND8 with polarized option. See how there are notches on the filter? And they have to correspond with the notches on the front of the camera lens. There. Stabilization is as good as it ever was. Never had an issue there. Now this filter that I put on is also the polarized option. So this is a neutral density and polarizer hybrid. The polarized option allows us to block some of the polarized light reflecting from non-metallic surfaces such as water, leaves on trees, the blue sky. There's a little serrated edge there, kind of like a quarter, and as you turn it, you can kind of change that effect. You can maximize the effect or minimize the effect depending on how much you turn. The polarizer's effect is always going to be a little more apparent 90 degrees from the direction of the sun, so always keep that in mind as well. For the Zoom version, you unscrew this clear glass filter again, just like that. And the first time I had to do this, it's DJI's fault, it's not Freewell Gear's fault. This thing was so freaking tight. So just be mindful of that. Be very careful as you take off this clear plastic filter. And then find your filter of choice here and screw it on. Now this one is also a hybrid option. So we have the top of the filter that turns independent of the base, like that. And we can customize our polarized effect as much as we'd like. And in my experience, I can also use the plastic gimbal protector with the filter on. So here's what a video clip might look like if you don't have a neutral density filter and you want to get a slow shutter speed on your footage. Blown out, overexposed, but now we can use a neutral density filter and we can get an image that looks really great along with having a slow shutter speed. If we have a fast shutter speed, then we don't have any motion blur associated with our image. And if you're catching something that's fast moving or moving the drone very fast, then a fast shutter speed might not look so great. The difference might be if you're shooting photography, then you might want to have a shutter speed that's a little bit faster so that you don't have motion blur in your image. Since it's a still image, you don't want motion blur, you don't want a blurry image. So it really depends what you want to do. Now, I like these filters. I've used them on multiple shoots. In fact, I think 3 shoots for each. And I like them. They don't seem to have any visual, negative points that I can think of, but there are a few technical points. Perhaps I'm not a fan of the way that these cases close up. So here's the lid of one of the cases. That's pocket size or bag size, that's good. But I would much rather there be a hinge that could open this up like a clamshell, because right now you've got to dig your fingernails underneath there and pull up, and that's just kind of awkward. And now you have 2 pieces which you can drop or lose or misplace. And I really wish this was something that had a clamshell opening that would shut itself a little bit easier, I also wish that when you bought the all-day 4K filter kit, it was one thing that you had and you could put into your bag, as opposed to keeping track of 2 of these. And then, you know, look what I have. I mean, I'm a little bit more of an extreme example of this, but when you have all these put together and they're just all in your bag, it's like, well, which one's which? And you can label them, sure. I just wish it was one thing. Other than that, I haven't noticed anything bad about these filters that make them detract from the image or make them subpar to anything else I've used. So I'm going to use them. These are going to be my main filters for the time being with the Mavic 2 Zoom and the Mavic 2 Pro. And I'll be using them again tomorrow for 2 more shoots. Whew, busy week. Thanks so much for watching, everybody. Go ahead and check the link in the video description to these if you're interested. Also, if you're watching this before December 1st, 2018, check out the meetup group Spin Up. It's a meetup event run by Kelly of Ready Set Drone. We're holding it in Texas near Austin. It's an all-day affair where a bunch of us YouTubers are getting together and meeting each other and discussing drones. It's gonna be a fun day and hope to see you there. Thanks so much for watching, everybody, and until next time, happy flying.